Hi, it's Brian, coming to you from the Telluride Film Festival. As of this recording, I just saw my last movie, and I'm getting ready to return home. But before I do, I wanted to give you my early review of Poor Things, the new film by Yorgos Lanthimos. I saw 13 films at the Telluride Film Festival this past weekend, and one of my two favorites is Poor Things. It just completely blew me away. I had seen the trailer. I knew going in kind of what to expect, and having been a huge fan of the favorites, I was like, I think Yorgos Lanthimos is going to outdo himself with this one, and I was right. From the opening few minutes all the way to the very, very satisfying ending, I was in love with this movie. It is so dazzling in every way, from the performances to the production design, to the costumes, to the visual effects, to the humor, to the raw sexuality, to a screenplay that is just constantly surprising you and delighting you. So it kind of starts like a retelling of the Frankenstein story. Emma Stone plays Bella Baxter, a woman who died, who killed herself at the very beginning, and then was brought back to life by Dr. Godwin Baxter, played by Willem Dafoe. So in the film's opening half hour, we spend a lot of time with Bella as she's just trying to relearn how to speak, how to walk, how to eat food, and she's not quite all the way there, but you can tell that she's trying and that she wants more out of her life than what Dr. Godwin Baxter is giving to her. She's basically a prisoner in her own home, and he won't let her out to speak to anybody, to go on any adventures. She's kind of his prisoner, but as the movie goes on, she gets a little bit smarter, she gets a few more opportunities, and then the big opportunity comes into her life. A lawyer, Duncan Wedderburn, played by Mark Ruffalo, he is immediately smitten with her, and he wants to take her away to explore the world, and that's where the movie gets really colorful and shocking and beautiful. A lot of the early part of this movie is in black and white, which is wonderful, and I love that. But once the colors come into this movie, oh my gosh, you guys, oh my gosh. Some of the shots in this movie, my jaw was practically on the floor. There are images here that I've never really seen before. So striking, and they fit the reality of this interesting, weird, slightly off-kilter world that Yorgos Lanthimos has created for us. This is a visionary movie all the way through. The way that Lanthimos uses his camera is very unusual at times and beautiful. Sometimes when Bella is just walking across a room, he'll use a fisheye lens and it puts the viewer a little off balance. And I think that's where Lanthimos always wants us to be. This is not a straightforward narrative in any shape or form. He's challenging us with the ideas of the movie, with how the movie looks, with how the movie is paced. It doesn't go where you think it's going to. There are parts of the movie where I was like, oh, she's probably gonna do this next. And then she does something completely different. And that was so exciting for me as a viewer. The movie is dealing with some very big ideas about humanity, about sexuality, about gender dynamics, about liberation. I mean, this movie could have just been like a Frankenstein retelling, a horror film with some interesting images, some cool, shocking moments, and after the opening 30 to 40 minutes, Lanthimos takes us in a new direction. He's not interested in just giving us the same thing all throughout the movie. And by the end, you're just like, this is where the film has gone. From the beginning, from where we started, this is where we're ending up. And it's just such a beautiful arc to the narrative, to the character of Bella Baxter. My initial tweet about this movie was that Emma Stone gives the performance of the year. And of course, it's only September. There's still more movies to see. But oh my effing God, you guys. Emma Stone takes this role and just does something astonishing with it. She's, of course, already won an Academy Award for Best Actress for La La Land, and I've loved her performances in so many things. Birdman, Battle of the Sexes, The Favorite. This is Emma Stone like you have never seen her before. She is on another level in this. I was so taken with her performance. Her portrayal of this character and where she goes from the opening 20 minutes to the last 20 minutes is just so dazzling, you guys. Like, the things Lanthimos asked her to do in this movie, and she takes it all on with gusto, with confidence. She is so funny in this movie. Some of her line readings, her mannerisms, the way she'll just like look at a character when she looks at Duncan when he's disappointing her, when she's had enough of him, and like the evolution of her intelligence. Like, it could have been with another actress kind of awkward, a bit too over the top, even though there is like an outlandish quality to this movie, to her character. It's never over the top to where you're just shaking your head and just like, okay, this is too much. This is crazy. This is too fanciful. Like, Bella always remains a real and grounded character, and especially as the movie goes on, as she learns more about who she is and where she comes from, she does bring in this emotion to the character that you're not really expecting, and it goes like 5 steps further. And by the end, you are rooting for her. You love her, and Emma Stone is so integral to the success of this movie. I don't know of another actress who could have played this role. Like, she's perfect for this, and she had to have known going into this project that she had to give it 110%. There was no holding back here. Obviously, she had worked with Lanthimos before on The Favorite, so there was clearly a trust there, because let me tell you guys, there is a lot of nudity in this, a lot of sex, and Emma Stone does things in this film I've never seen her do before, and it's like she knew for this film, this character, she was gonna have to go there. And again, she says, bring it on. Like, I am not afraid of anything. This is a fearless performance that brought a smile to my face. I was so happy to see Emma Stone take on a role like this and just knock it out of the park. She is clearly the front runner next year to win the Academy Award for Best Actress. She is that good. But she does not in any way give the only great performance in this movie. The entire cast is phenomenal, is so great. Especially Mark Ruffalo as Duncan, the lawyer Duncan, who just thinks the world of himself. He thinks he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He thinks nobody in the world really compares to him, and that goes for the women in his life and his sexual prowess and everything that goes with that. And Mark Ruffalo is another actor I've always adored, and he has 3 Oscar nominations behind him. He's never won. He, I think, even more than Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer, shoots to the top of the list for Best Supporting Actor in this movie. He gets a lot of screen time in this. He's in like the middle hour and a half, I would say, of the movie. Middle hour, 10 minutes. There are some pieces of the film he's not in, so I would say he's a supporting actor. But he's also very funny in this. His chemistry with Emma Stone is terrific, and they're kind of back and forth, especially when they're not happy with each other. Like, it gets really, really, really funny. He's also a bit unpredictable. You're never quite sure of his intentions with Bella and with the people around him. Mark Ruffalo is fantastic in this film. I also think Willem Dafoe could get into the Oscars for his weird ass performance in this, like really creepy, but also grounded. Like, even though his face looks the way it does, we're not meant to be scared of him. Like, he is a father figure who we come to care about, especially in the second half of the movie, what you learn about him. Like, Dafoe could have just hidden behind that makeup and given a decent performance, but he has some amazing scenes in this. And even when he's off screen, which he is for a lot of the middle part of the movie, like, you're always thinking about him and wondering what he's up to, because he does some crazy things in the second half of the film too. And as odd of a character he is, you really do understand his love for Bella, his wanting to be there for her. And again, it's not just like a monster performance. Like, despite the makeup, we really do come to care for him. Dafoe also has a few Oscar nominations behind him, unless the Best Supporting Actor category in a few months is just like overloaded with too many prospects. I do think Dafoe gets in as well as Ruffalo. And that's not all. I mean, you have Rami Youssef, he's really good in this. Margaret Qualley pops up and she has some funny moments. And then later in the film, we get an actor who gives a sublime performance only for a few scenes. I'm not even going to give that actor's name away yet because it is in the last like 20-25 minutes of the film. But keep an eye out for one more really terrific performance at the end. And then the technicals, you guys, across this movie were so great. The production design, the costume design, the cinematography. The choices of camera lenses, the colors. We get these occasional titles across the screen. I want to say there's like 7 or 8 of them, and they are just breathtaking to look at. There was just so much thought put into every aspect of this movie, and you can see it on the screen. It's like Lanthimos finally got the budget he deserved to make his big, beautiful, epic movie that speaks to him and speaks to us. I could see Poor Things getting like 11, 12, 13 Oscar nominations. It's going to play really well for everybody, for Academy members, both in the top 8 categories, but also in the technical categories. This is not a movie that's only going to get into like actress, supporting actor, screenplay. I do think this movie will get into picture, director, actress, potentially 2 people in supporting actor, screenplay, and then at least 5 or 6 technical categories. Like, there's not one that I'm like, well, no, I don't think it's good enough for that. Like, I think it easily gets into cinematography, production design, costume design, visual effects for sure, probably sound, probably score. The score of this movie is beautiful. The soundtrack, the songs, like, it fits the tone of this film so well. It's so great. Again, I appreciated the focus on sexuality in this film. One of my big takeaways from the Telluride Film Festival was that sex is back, because there were so many films I saw over the weekend that had some really explicit sex scenes. And I feel like that's something that's been lost in cinema in recent years, especially with like the bigger movies. And it was just nice to see that again, especially in Poor Things. That's so much about the liberation of Bella's character and her coming into her own as a woman and kind of finding her place and finding her power. And the way that she uses sex is really remarkable. I love that aspect of the movie. I appreciated the blending of tones in this movie. I mean, some of it is laugh out loud hilarious, like 15 to 20 big laughs, I would say, throughout the film. But it's also very emotional. Bella learns things about her past that are very sad. It's really creepy in moments. It's breathtakingly beautiful. And it is just a wild ride of a movie. It's what the movies were made for, films like Poor Things, that take you on an adventure that you will never, ever stop thinking about. It's why I go to the movies. Every year, I look for films like Poor Things. Visionary directors like Lanthimos who bring a captivating story to the screen with just the finest actors you can ever imagine. The performances in this movie are so stunning. The writing, the directing, it's just a journey you're going to want to go on over and over again, and it is easily one of the top 5 films of 2023. Again, I think it's going to do very well at the Academy Awards. I see at least 11 Oscar nominations. I'll be doing a video down the road talking a little bit more in depth about my Oscar predictions for Poor Things, as well as a lot of the other big titles playing at the fall festivals. But for now, I wanted to say that Poor Things is a masterpiece. It's one of the must-see movies of 2023. I can't wait to hear what you guys think of it when it eventually comes out around the country, around the world. I think you're going to love it just as much as I did. I give Poor Things a 10 out of 10. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned in the coming days for more Telluride Film Festival reviews, including The Holdovers, All of Us Strangers, and Saltburn. We'll see you next time at the Awards Contender.